What if the drink sitting on your table right now is doing more damage to your prostate than your age ever could? Gentlemen, if you are over 50 and you've noticed more bathroom trips at night, weaker erections, lower stamina, or that uncomfortable pressure in your lower pelvis, I need you to pay very close attention. Because, in my years as a urologist, I've seen far too many men ignore the early warnings. They tell themselves it's just aging, just stress, just one of those things. But very often, it isn't just age. It's a daily habit, a quiet one, a hidden one. And one of the most common places it hides is in your glass. Most men think prostate health is only about urination or maybe intimacy. But the truth is much bigger than that. Your prostate sits in the middle of a very sensitive system involving your bladder, your hormones, your nerves, your blood flow, and yes, your erections. When the prostate becomes irritated or inflamed, it doesn't stay contained in one small area. It starts to affect sleep, energy, confidence, focus, even your motivation to stay active and take care of yourself. And the most dangerous part is this: the damage often happens slowly, no alarm bells, no dramatic pain, just a gradual decline that feels almost normal, until one day a man realizes he's getting up 3 times a night, his stamina is gone, and his body doesn't feel like his own anymore. So today, I want to walk you through the 3 hidden drinks that quietly damage prostate health. Some of them may already be part of your daily routine. And stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal the hidden mistake most men make with these drinks that silently destroys their health before they even realize what's happening. Now let's begin with the first drink, because this one is so common that most men never suspect it. Gentlemen, the first hidden drink is sugary soft drinks and sweet bottled beverages. Soda, sweet tea, fruit punch, flavored juices, sports drinks, even those healthy vitamin drinks that taste more like candy than nutrition. A lot of men think, I don't eat that much junk, so 1 or 2 drinks a day can't matter. But here's what most men don't realize. When it comes to your prostate, liquid sugar can be even more dangerous than sugary food because it hits the body fast, hard, and often without making you feel full. Think of your bloodstream like a highway system. When a huge load of sugar rushes in all at once, traffic starts to pile up. Your body has to release insulin to bring that sugar down. Do that once in a while and your body can usually recover. Do it every day, sometimes several times a day, and the system gets worn down. Insulin rises more often, fat storage increases, inflammation begins to simmer, and inflammation is one of the biggest hidden drivers of prostate discomfort and urinary symptoms. Your prostate is a small gland, but it is extremely sensitive to what's happening in the rest of your body. When blood sugar stays unstable and inflammation keeps building, the tissues around the prostate can become more irritated. That can mean more pressure, more urgency, more nighttime trips to the bathroom, and more frustration. A man may say, "Why do I feel like I still need to go even after I've gone?" That's often because the entire area is becoming more reactive and more inflamed. And it doesn't stop there. The silver surface problems that hurt the prostate also hurt erections. Let me put that simply. Erections depend on healthy blood vessels, healthy nerves, and good blood flow. If sugary drinks are damaging the blood vessels over time, it's like trying to water a garden through a hose that's slowly getting clogged. The water still comes through, but not the way it used to. That's why a decline in erections and a decline in prostate comfort often show up together. They may look like separate problems, but very often they're connected. Now, some men hear this and think, "Doctor, come on, are you saying one soda is ruining my life?" No, I'm saying the pattern matters. The body remembers repetition. One sugary drink may not cause obvious damage, but one every day for years? That's different. That becomes a slow chemical message to your body: store more fat, inflame more tissue, stress the blood vessels, destabilize energy, and push the system closer to breakdown. I've seen men clean up this one habit and notice changes surprisingly fast. They sleep more deeply. They get fewer cravings in the afternoon. They stop waking up as often to urinate. Their energy becomes more stable. And sometimes they tell me something they weren't expecting to say out loud. "Doctor, My erections are better too. Of course they are. Better blood sugar control means less vascular stress, less inflammation, and a better internal environment for the entire pelvic region. So what do? Start simple. Replace one sugary drink a day with cold water, sparkling water, or unsweetened tea. If that feels too hard, dilute the sweet drink and shrink the portion. The goal is not perfection. The goal is reducing the daily attack on your body. You don't need to overhaul your whole life in one weekend. You just need to stop feeding the fire. And that brings us to the second hidden drink. Because if sugary drinks quietly inflame the system, this next one tricks men into thinking it helps them relax, while it may be weakening the prostate, the bladder, and even testosterone at the exact same time. The second hidden drink might surprise you, not because it's uncommon, but because so many men defend it. I'm talking about alcohol. Especially that evening drink many men call their reward: a beer after work, a glass of wine with dinner, a whiskey before bed. Gentlemen, if you do this regularly, I want you to understand what your body is actually experiencing. Alcohol feels relaxing in the moment, but the body often pays for that relaxation later. First, alcohol dehydrates you, and when the body is dehydrated, urine becomes more concentrated, which can irritate the bladder and the tissues nearby. For a man whose prostate is already a little enlarged or a little inflamed, that irritation can make symptoms worse fast. More urgency, more frequency, more getting up at night, more of that annoying feeling that your bladder never fully empties. Second, alcohol disrupts sleep, even when it seems to help you fall asleep. This is a big one. Many men say, "Doctor, I sleep better after a drink." No, you fall asleep faster. That is not the same thing as getting restorative sleep. Deep sleep is when your body resets hormones, repairs blood vessels, calms inflammation, and restores the nervous system. Alcohol breaks that process apart. It's like shutting down the repair shop while the workers are still trying to fix the damage. And if you're waking up at night to urinate after drinking, the problem gets worse. Every interruption matters. Hormone balance suffers. Energy drops the next day. Your body becomes more dependent on caffeine. Blood pressure can creep up. Stress rises. Then men wonder why their stamina is lower, why they feel foggy, and why their erections aren't as dependable as they used to be. Let's also talk about hormones. Over time, frequent alcohol use can interfere with testosterone balance. Testosterone is not just about sex drive. It affects muscle, energy, mood, drive, and body composition. When testosterone trends downward and inflammation trends upward, the body shifts into a more fragile state. Men gain belly fat more easily, circulation worsens, sleep weakens. The prostate often feels the consequences. Here's the analogy I use with patients. Imagine your body as a house with a cooling fan, plumbing, and wiring. Alcohol may make the house feel quieter for an hour, but behind the walls, the cooling fan is slowing down. The plumbing is under pressure, and the wiring is flickering. At first you don't notice. Then one day the lights keep going out, the pipes make noise at night, and the whole system feels unreliable. That's how alcohol often works in men over 50. Quietly, gradually, but very effectively. Now, I'm not here to tell every man he must never touch alcohol again. I'm a doctor, not a preacher. But I am telling you this: if you already struggle with prostate symptoms, weak erections, low stamina, or poor sleep, alcohol may be making it worse than you realize. Especially if you drink in the evening close to bedtime, when your body should be cooling down and repairing itself. So what's the hopeful solution? Reduce the frequency, reduce the amount, and most importantly, stop treating alcohol like a sleep aid. If you want to protect your prostate, your bladder, and your nighttime recovery, the later you drink, the more damage it tends to do. Many men feel better just by cutting the bedtime drink and moving alcohol further away from sleep. Fewer wake-ups, better mornings, better control. But if you think alcohol is the biggest hidden offender, wait until you hear about the third drink, because this next one is sold as energy, focus, and performance. While it may be quietly pushing the prostate, the heart, and the nervous system into overdrive. Now here's the third hidden drink, and this one may be hurting men who believe they are trying to help themselves. I'm talking about energy drinks, oversized caffeine bombs, and those powerful canned stimulants that promise focus, stamina, and a boost when you feel drained. Gentlemen, if you rely on these to get through your day, I want you to hear me clearly. The same drink that makes you feel switched on may be silently wearing down the systems your body needs most. Too much caffeine, especially when paired with sugar and stimulants, can irritate the bladder, increase urinary urgency, and make pelvic tension worse. For some men, that means more pressure, more frequency, and more nighttime problems. For others, it shows up as jitteriness, heart pounding, anxiety, or trouble sleeping. And remember, when sleep gets damaged, the prostate, hormones, and erections all start to suffer. Think of your nervous system like a car engine. A modest amount of caffeine is like pressing the gas pedal gently, but energy drinks are often like flooring the accelerator while the engine is already overheating. Yes, the car surges forward for a while, but the strain builds, the temperature rises, parts wear down faster, and eventually performance becomes less reliable, not more. Here's another important piece men often miss. Erections are not just about desire. They depend on healthy blood flow and good nerve signaling. The body releases nitric oxide, which helps blood vessels relax and open up. That opening allows blood to flow where it needs to go. But when you're overstimulated, stressed, poorly rested, and running on chemical energy, the body doesn't work smoothly. Blood vessels can tighten, stress hormones go up. The nervous system shifts into a fight or flight state. And a body stuck in fight or flight is not a body that performs well sexually. I sometimes tell men to imagine trying to fill a balloon while someone is squeezing the neck of it. That's what poor circulation and stress can do to erections. The signal is there, the desire may be there, but the mechanics are being restricted. Over time, men lose confidence. Then that anxiety creates even more tension. And once again, what feels like a prostate problem, a stamina problem, and an erection problem may actually be part of the same hidden loop. Energy drinks also create a dangerous pattern when they're used to cover up fatigue from bad sleep, alcohol, or poor eating. A man sleeps badly, wakes up tired, grabs an energy drink, spikes his heart rate, gets through the afternoon, crashes later, then uses alcohol to calm down at night. Gentlemen, that is not energy. That is borrowed function, and the debt always gets collected. The hopeful side is that this habit often improves faster than men expect. You do not need to quit every drop of caffeine forever, but you do need to respect the dose and the timing. Cut back on the strongest drinks first. Stop using them late in the day. Replace some of that liquid stimulation with water, protein, light movement, and real sleep when you can. Even a short walk and a better breakfast can do more for long-term stamina than another can of artificial energy. I've seen men in their 50s, 60s, even 70s feel dramatically better after backing away from this cycle. Less urgency, less pounding heart, better focus without the crash, better sleep. And when the nervous system calms down, the whole body functions better, including the bladder, the prostate, and sexual performance. Now at this point, some of you may be thinking, "Doctor, these are just drinks. How can they affect so much?" That's exactly what I want to explain next. Because once you understand the simple science of how the prostate, blood flow, hormones, and nerves all work together, you'll never look at these habits the same way again. But here's what most men don't realize. The prostate is small, but it sits in one of the most important locations in the male body. It lives just below the bladder and wraps around the tube that carries urine out of the body. So when the prostate is irritated, swollen, or inflamed, it can affect urination immediately. But because that area is also closely connected to nerves, muscles, and blood flow, the effects can spread far beyond the bathroom. Think of the prostate like a traffic circle in the center of a busy city. Urine has to pass through it. Nerves communicate around it. Blood vessels support the whole neighborhood. If that traffic circle becomes narrow or inflamed, everything backs up. You feel pressure. Your stream weakens. You start stopping and starting. You wake up at night. And because sleep gets broken, the entire city starts functioning worse the next day. Now let's simplify the blood flow side. Healthy erections depend on open, flexible blood vessels and a chemical called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like the body's green light. It tells the blood vessels to relax and widen so blood can flow properly. But inflammation, high sugar intake, poor sleep, excess alcohol, and stimulant overload all interfere with that process. The vessels become stiffer. The green light comes on more weakly, blood flow becomes less smooth. That's why erections often become less reliable before men realize they have a bigger health issue. In fact, I want you to think of weak erections as a check engine light. Many men treat it like an embarrassment issue only, but sometimes it's the body's early warning that circulation, nerves, hormones, or inflammation are heading in the wrong direction. The penis often reveals vascular trouble before the heart does because those blood vessels are smaller and more sensitive. So when a man tells me he's having weaker erections and more urinary issues, I don't just think about one organ, I think about the whole system. Then we have testosterone. Testosterone helps support sex drive, mood, energy, muscle, motivation, and body composition. Poor sleep, excess alcohol, high body fat, and chronic metabolic stress can all drag it down over time. And when testosterone falls, men often move less, gain more belly fat, and feel less like themselves. That creates a vicious cycle because more belly fat increases inflammation, and more inflammation can worsen prostate and vascular function. Now let's talk about pressure. When the bladder is irritated, when the pelvic muscles are tense, when the prostate is inflamed, the entire area can start behaving like a foot trapped inside a boot that's too tight. The boot doesn't have to crush the foot completely to make every step uncomfortable. Even a little extra pressure becomes noticeable when you're living with it every day. That's why men describe symptoms like urgency, dribbling, weak flow, incomplete emptying, or discomfort after sitting too long. So where do the drinks fit in? Sugary drinks increase inflammation and metabolic stress. Alcohol dehydrates, irritates the bladder, and ruins deep sleep. Energy drinks overstimulate the nervous system, tighten the body, and disrupt circulation and recovery. Different drinks, same result. They push the body into a state where the prostate, bladder, erections, and stamina all struggle together. And here is the hopeful truth. The body is not helpless. It responds when you remove the pressure. Give it better hydration, better sleep, better blood sugar control, less chemical stress, more stable circulation. That is why men can feel improvements faster than they expect once they stop pouring irritation into the system every day. But even after hearing all of that, most men still miss the biggest danger. Because the worst mistake is not only what they drink, it's how they combine these drinks, and especially when they use them. And that final reveal is where everything comes together. Now we come to the most important part, and most men never realize this until it's too late. The biggest mistake is not just drinking soda, alcohol, or energy drinks. The biggest mistake is the pattern, the stacking, the timing, the cycle that forms when a man uses all three in the wrong parts of the day and then wonders why his body is slowly turning against him. Let me show you what this looks like. A sweet drink at lunch, an energy drink in the afternoon because energy crashes, alcohol at night to unwind. It sounds ordinary. It sounds harmless. It sounds like modern life. But inside the body, that pattern can become a silent wrecking ball. First comes the sugar spike. Blood sugar rises, insulin rises, inflammation simmers. Then comes the stimulant hit. Stress hormones climb, the bladder gets irritated, the nervous system stays revved up. Then comes the alcohol. Dehydration begins, sleep is disrupted, hormone repair gets weaker. The bladder is irritated again, and now the man starts waking up at night to urinate. He sleeps poorly, wakes up exhausted, and reaches for more caffeine the next day. Gentlemen, this is how a habit becomes a trap. And here is the shocking part. Many men blame aging while this loop is happening. They say, I'm over 50, so of course my stamina is dropping. I'm getting older, so of course my erections are weaker. I'm at that age, so of course I'm peeing all night. No, aging plays a role, yes, But very often, daily chemistry is pouring gasoline on a fire that did not need to burn this fast. This is the reveal I wanted you to hear. The body can tolerate occasional stress. What it struggles with is constant mixed signals. Sugar tells it to store and inflame. Stimulants tell it to stay alert and tense. Alcohol tells it to dehydrate and recover poorly. Day after day, that combination creates the perfect storm for prostate irritation, poor sleep, unstable hormones, weaker erections, and declining confidence. And the reason most men miss it is because no single drink seems dramatic enough to blame. That's why the damage is so quiet, so gradual, so easy to dismiss, until suddenly it isn't. But here's the good news, and I want you to really hear this. Once you break the pattern, the body often responds, not always overnight, not magically, but meaningfully. More stable energy, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, better sleep, better focus, better circulation, better confidence. Sometimes even a return of erections a man thought were gone for good. Why? Because the body is no longer spending every day fighting the same unnecessary battle. So start with one step, not 10. 1. Remove the evening alcohol for a week. Cut the daily soda in half. Stop the energy drink after noon. Drink more water earlier in the day. Give your system a chance to cool down before bed. Think of it like taking your foot off the hose, loosening the tight boot, turning the cooling fan back on. Recovery begins when pressure comes off. And gentlemen, let me say this from the heart. It is never too late. Your body can heal. Your prostate is not your enemy. Your age is not the full story. Small choices repeated daily can either protect your future or slowly steal it. But the beautiful part is that the same truth works in your favor. Small changes, repeated daily, can restore more than you think. If this message helped you, subscribe to the channel and stay with us, because we talk about the things men are often too embarrassed to ask, but absolutely need to understand. And I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Which of these habits do you struggle with most? The sugary drinks, the alcohol, or the caffeine and energy drinks? Write it below. You are not alone, and the first step to getting better is being honest about what needs to change.